I decided to change things up and used my hockey brush to paint this painting instead of my usual Chinese calligraphy brush. And I tried to challenge myself by basically forcing myself to paint this entire painting using just that one brush. And I'm also painting the entire painting using wet on wet technique. And because I wanted my paper to stay wet for a very long time, I held my paper under running water, cold water, for a few minutes just to make sure that it's absolutely wet, and this way my paper doesn't buckle and it stays flat on the surface that I'm painting on my desk, and also stays wet for a very long time. So if you have trouble with your paper buckling and you don't want to spend too much time taping and stretching your paper, this is a very good way that you can use to make sure that your paper doesn't buckle. But just make sure that you don't use a hair dryer at the end. Just let it air dry to the end if you can. Okay, so I'm starting by applying my lightest color first. This is raw sienna. Of course, you can use yellow ochre, or if you don't have that one either, you can mix your own by adding a touch of brown to your yellow. And the next color is a salmon color that I mixed using pink, rhodonite genuine, and a touch of orange. I need to remember that all of these colors are going to dry much lighter because of all the water on my paper, so I'm applying these colors slightly more saturated and more vibrant that I want them to dry. And I'm also trying to leave some white area for the sun, but because of how wet my paper is, these colors spread eventually and cover up that white area for the sun, so I'm gonna have to come back to it later and use a clean damp brush to lift that paint for the sun again. And now I'm moving on to painting the top section of the paper. This is a very watered down indigo. Just make sure that you add a lot of water because this is a very light value area of the sky. So even though the indigo color is a very dark color, we need to make sure that we add enough water so that it's very light in tonal value. And then I'm taking the excess water off my brush and I'm taking much thicker consistency of the same color, indigo. I think I have a touch of burnt sienna to it too. And I'm just painting the shadow parts of the clouds in a very loose and expressive style. So as you can see, it's really easy to create these interesting and abstract shapes for the clouds using a flat brush compared to a round brush. So I'm really enjoying using this brush, and it's a very good change to my usual round brush that I always use. I'm also trying to add more interest to the sky area by creating more variation, especially for the color that I'm using for the shadow parts of the clouds. So as you can see, in some areas they look more brownish and warmer gray, and in some areas I have really dark, basically pure indigo, to have a nice contrast between a warmer and brownish gray and a cooler and darker gray, which is basically indigo. And now I'm just moving on to painting the bottom part of the painting, and I'm really enjoying using this flat brush because when you use a round brush and you're trying to create similar marks to paint the bottom part, the end of your brush strokes, where your brush leaves the paper, it creates like a bigger dot. I'm not sure how to describe it. I'll try to put it on the screen so you can see what I mean. So it's so much harder to create the same smooth effect using a round brush. That's why I'm really enjoying painting wet on wet using this flat brush. And it doesn't have to be a hockey brush, just as long as you're using a flat brush that doesn't hold too much water in it, it would do the same job. And the colors that I'm using to paint the sand are basically the same sky colors. So the first color was raw sienna, and then at the bottom I had that salmon color, which was a mixture of orange and pink. And then at the bottom part I just have pure burnt umber. I think I actually mixed my own burnt umber using burnt sienna and indigo, but it's basically the same color. You can use burnt umber instead. To paint the sea, I took the excess water off my brush so that I have better control on my paint and the paint stays where I put it. And then I used aqua green and I painted the farthest part of the sea as my first brush stroke so that the most of the pigment was released at that brush stroke, so it was darker. And then I made the rest of the brush strokes and I came closer to the foreground with the paint that was left in my brush, so that the rest of the paint that is coming closer to the foreground is slightly lighter in tonal value compared to the first one that is farthest away. As you can see, because of how wet my paper is, the colors are keep spreading to the white area for the sun, so I need to keep in mind to keep lifting the paint for that area. And it's okay if you forget and that area is covered with paint, because you can always come back to it later on when your painting is completely dry and try to lift the paint and just use a clean damp brush and massage that area to lift the paint. And I'm using the same lifting technique to basically lift some waves where the water meets the beach. I wanted to paint this painting in a very loose style, so I'm trying to be very minimalistic with my brush strokes. So basically the less is more when it comes to painting in a loose style. And now it's just time to paint the cliffs. The left hand side of the cliffs, that is more towards the center of the painting, is the area that catches more of the light. So I'm using a warmer and lighter brown for that area. And for the bottom part of the cliffs and the right hand side of the cliffs, I'm using a darker brown, which I added more indigo to my brown to darken it, to paint the shadow parts of the cliffs. At this stage, my paper is starting to semi-dry, so this paint that I'm adding to paint the cliffs, this is very thick consistency. This is not, I don't have too much water on my brush, because the paper is semi-dry now, and if I come back to it with lots of water on my brush, I can create a very nasty cauliflower effect where I don't want it. And this is another reason that I really enjoy using this flat brush, is because of the shape of this brush. It releases water more gradually compared to a round brush. If I were to add more paint at the later stages of the painting where the paper is semi-dry using a round brush, I really needed to make sure that I don't have too much water on my brush. It would be a lot more tricky to not create that cauliflower effect, especially for a beginner artist. So I really recommend you try out this brush, or any brand. It doesn't have to be the same brand that I have, just any one of them that has good reviews on Amazon should do the job. And yeah, as you can see, this is the finished painting. I really hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. Don't forget to ask me your questions in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy painting!